Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing stages 55 to 58 of the Hachette Partworks release of Build the Doctor Who Dalek. Exterminate! Now I've had to have a little move round in here. Obviously my cutting mat that I had with the World of Wayne logo, I spilt so much epoxy glue on it yesterday, so that has gone. So today I am building it on my green surface. But you know what, looking at the cameras, actually comes out really good. So I don't know if I'm going to leave that. We'll have to see. But we're doing more work on those rollers today. Obviously for that reason I've got the rollers up here, but I have got this massive frame as well, because I don't know if we're going to be fitting them to that. This is having to be pinned to the wall of the workshop at the moment because it's so big. There's nowhere else to keep it. But if you do want to get this for yourself, I don't know if it's available anymore. Some of these back issues you can find in Forbidden Planet in London, to be honest with you. But if you look at the video description there, or the QR code on the screen, you'll be able to hopefully get some of this for yourself. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Once again, I haven't really looked at what we're doing. So this is stage 55, and this is the magazine here, looking just like this. And we are continuing to work on these rollers here. Now if you remember, we've already attached one of the rollers to this frame just here, and by the look of it we're going to be adding a motor so we can put one on this side over here. So let's get this open, and we've got this motor here. So once again I'm just going to check all the terminals are attached, which they are. I'm going to put the motor into place just onto this section like that. Now it's held in with DM screws and it is going into metal. Once again I have put a little bit of oil on my screw. These screws for this build, because the Dalek is so big, I am pretty much using my PH1 screwdriver all the time now for this. But this takes 4 screws. I'm then going to take another sphere like this, and I'm going to be putting this into position on here. Now it does have a specific way it goes because there is a flat side, so this is going to go in this way, just like that. So once that's in, we're going to be attaching that with an EM screw, and we're going to use some washers as well. So the EM screw is a flange screw, but we also have a split washer and a normal washer. So what we want to do is put the split washer on first, then the normal washer, load up my screwdriver, and you're going to have to let gravity help you here. Because getting that lined up is not easy. But I've done it. Get that in nice and tight. Okay. I'm then in a position to put the other hemisphere on, making sure that this rod's in the right way, so the plastic inserted bit, which is all the way down the bottom, should be at this end. And then put this together. There we go. So it's a nice seal all the way around there. And I'm holding them in with LP screws. No oil this time because this is going into plastic. But there is 4 screws to put in. This is the last screw going in here. And then this bit's going to be fun. We get to test it. So what I want to do is I want to plug in the extension lead that I've just got here into the battery box. If you remember the battery box, make sure this is off at the moment. And then we're going to be plugging in each motor to ensure that this is going to go around. Now, the reason why you want it off is because as soon as I put this plug in, it's going to want to try and run away from you. So when we turn it on, hopefully this is going to turn. Ah, that's lovely and smooth. Check that out. Let's check the other motor. Once again, plug this in here and then turn it on. Excellent. With that done, that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, that leads us swiftly on to stage 56. And here is the magazine. And it looks like we've got, what are these? We're just working on the base assembly now. These are reflectors, which are actually going to go into the base. I'm going to need to clear some space to actually put this into position. Not a lot to do in this stage. So what I'm going to want to do is put this up here like this, and I'm going to zoom out my cameras. Just so you can see everything I'm doing. I'm also going to open this pack, quite a big pack with these reflectors in. Now out of the 3 reflectors we get, you've got 2 which are the same, which have got this flat edge with this section just here, and then you've got one which is completely round. So first one I want is the one that's completely round. It's only going to be able to go in one way here because of how these are spaced out here. So I want it in this way and get this into position here. So that's fitting nice and flush in there, but it is held in with MP screws from the underside, and we're going to need 4 of these. So I can see where this comes through this side, so I'll get a screw in here and get this screwed in. Once it's tight, don't over tighten it because it is plastic. You are going to round that screw otherwise. Takes 4 screws. Okay, perfect. That's in there just like that. I'm going to center this up so you can see this bit here, because then I'm going to be putting this one into position. I want the straight side to be facing out, so when I put this in, it's going to be going in this way, just like that. In the same way, we're using those flange screws, the MP screws, to hold this in from the other side. So I'll get all 4 of these in. So let's see how that looks. That looks excellent. And then finally, exactly the same way on the other side, just over here. And there you go, with that in position. That is all there is to do in that stage. So I've zoomed up my cameras again. Stage 57. Here's the magazine. There's your centerfold. And then we've got quite a large reflector and another small one here going in the bottom, just like we've just been doing. And it looks like in the last stage we're going to get a motor. So these are actually quite quick stages really, weren't they? So get this open. I mean, look at that. We've got this one here as well. Okay, I don't think I need to zoom my cameras out because it's going to be pretty apparent where everything's going here. So the smaller one that we've got here is going to be going into the position just there, right at the back. Make sure that fits in flush. Once again, held in with those MP screws from the other side. I don't have to hold this from underneath now because the other reflectors are lifting this slightly. This actually fits perfectly flat. So it's easy to screw this in. Now, shockingly, you'd be so tempted to put the large one in, but guess what? We don't actually do that in this stage, because putting this last screw in there, that is all there is to do in this stage. Now, we already know we're going to get a motor in this stage, so I'm wondering if we've kept that reflector back because there's not really going to be much to do in this stage. We're going to find that out together. So here is stage 58. And here is another centerfold. Here's the magazine. And we've got another motor here. So we're going to actually start creating another row with another roller and putting that into position. So we don't actually put this reflector on, which means that all of these screws that I had that came in that stage, and I've also got a washer and a split washer here as well, I'm going to keep them safe. Because if you have a look at the back, looks like we're starting to get a control board in the next pack. So I already have the next rail up here looking like this. Take the motor. Once again, I'm just checking the contact points. They're good. Put this into position here. And I'm holding this in with the DM screws. And we need 4 of these. Exactly like we started this pack, I'm going to put this sphere into position on here, making sure I put it on the right way. So that's held on with an EM screw. Once again, we're going to put a split washer on, then a normal washer, and get this screwed into position. That actually went in first time for me then. That never happens. There you go, that's in. And then finally, we get to put this side in, matching everything up so that this can slot perfectly into position. So it's nice and flush all the way around. And then as you can see, I've got the LP screws here. I need 4 of these to hold this into place. And this is the last screw going in here. And even though the instructions don't say to test it, you know what? I'm going to test it because that's how I roll. So turn it on. There you go. Absolutely perfect. Lovely and smooth and quiet as well. Well, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. You know, so even though there wasn't much to do in this stage, I'm hoping this gives you an idea of how big this Dalek's going to be. It certainly gives me an idea, and it certainly means that I'm going to have a conversation of exactly where this is going. There's no way she's going to let me put this in the lounge. We'll have to figure that out together. Anyway, I really hope you like that big video. I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.